Do you have all the things they say should make you happy, but you still feel unfulfilled? Are you always doing what you should do? Or do you never feel like you're enough? And you want to feel better, more fulfilled, more aligned, and more comfortable in your own body? Then this is the show. Scared as fuck and doing it anyway, showing up authentically. My name is Paula Schuster, and I'm a self-love and authenticity coach. My life completely changed when I started loving myself again, putting myself first, and being true to me. This is the show that's going to help you get out of being stuck, out of the cycles of self-abandonment, and help you choose yourself without feeling selfish. It will give you not only inspiration, but awareness, courage, and insights to make changes and live your life for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Scared as Fuck and Doing It Anyway, Showing Up Authentically podcast. I'm your host, Paula Schuster, and I'm delighted to have Dawn Bova on the podcast today. Dawn is someone who I met in my podcasting program. She's an artist, an author, a nurse practitioner, and an angel mom who has experienced way more than her fair share of loss, including her father, her son, someone who was like a son to her, and her grandson most recently. It's just quite a story. Yet even with all this loss in her life, she is such a light in this world, and her mission is to help women awaken after life's darkest moments. She believes strongly that creativity heals, because it was in her art and painting that she began to heal from the deep losses that she endured. And she believes that any type of creative process helps us get back to the childlike wonder, magical and free-flowing space that heals. She loves all the healing modalities just like me, and is all about lifting others, especially women who are grieving. As she's grown and evolved, she has realized that her purpose is more than just teaching art, but to bring light into the darkness of the world. You know, she really helped me in this conversation that we had to see my own path through a new lens. And I'm so grateful to her for that. So without further ado, here's Dawn Renee Bova. Hi, Dawn. How are you doing
Good.
today?
I'm doing good. Had a little bit of a challenging morning since we're talking about authenticity. My son showed up and he was not too pleasant, and it really kind of set me back for a little bit. So I had to do some calming and some meditation and prepare myself for this podcast today.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry you had that happen. That's such a bummer,
Yeah,
but
it is, but
practices can bring us back, right? So,
absolutely. Yeah.
well, I'm so glad to have you on. Welcome to Scared as Fuck and Doing It Anyway, Showing Up Authentically.
Yeah.
Um, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about you, who you are and what you do,
Yeah.
and all about Dawn.
Okay, I'm gonna just kind of go over my bio, and I don't have it memorized, so I'll cheat a little bit. But I'm an artist, an author, a nurse practitioner, and an angel mom. I use the creative process to help heal and provide insight to deep soul work. And my mission is to help you awaken after life's darkest moments. I really want to zone in on women creatives who have experienced these dark moments to help improve emotional freedom so that you don't have to feel trapped in the past. You're not affected by the opinions of others, and you're not fearful of vulnerability in a community setting. And that's my goal.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great
Mhm.
work that you're doing on um, an artist, an author, an angel mom. Can you talk a little bit about an angel mom?
Yeah, so I think my whole artistic journey was reborn out of tragedy. So I lost my son Bradley in 2016 to an accidental overdose, and it was the most traumatic thing I've ever experienced in my life. I thought at that time, you know, I really felt like I wanted to go with him. Even though, you know, when you're on the outside looking in, you see, oh, you have this, you have that. There's reason to go forward. I'm just telling you, other angel moms that I have spoken with, you do feel that. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. But I just kept pushing through and I threw myself into service work for the recovery community and helping others. And that did help me. We, I want to back up because prior to that, when I was 20, my dad, who was 46, was on his way home from work and he was in a car accident and he was killed. And I thought at that time that that was the worst pain that I could ever experience. But, I had more lessons to learn. So then I lost Brad. And then in 2020, his sponsor, Brian, who was also like a son to us, um, lost his battle with addiction and he overdosed as well. It
Wow.
was at that point that my sister, who is a classically trained artist, she went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, said, "Come on over, we're going to paint." And I just really was looking to her house to escape, just to have some respite. And
Right.
she said, "No, we're going to paint." I said, "I don't want to paint." And I've always loved art. I've loved the creative process. I took some art courses in high school and in college, but I just wasn't having it. Well, when I got there, she had the whole table set up with art supplies, paint, canvases, and we sat and painted for 2.5 hours. And it was at that moment that I realized how important the creative process is for healing, because it was the first time in a really long time that I was able to sit still and really be at peace and have calm and serenity and not have my mind wandering toward, you know, the tragedy and the trauma that I had experienced. And I thought to myself, I'm just going to keep going with this. And I
Right.
started sharing some of my artwork on social media and people started buying it. So then I just decided to start a little business called Heartwork by Dawn. And as I've grown and evolved, I've realized that my purpose is more than just teaching art to people, although I think that is a noble profession. I feel called to help people through life's darkest moments. And I feel like we're all creatives. We're born with creativity in us. As we grow older, the world clamors and all the things start blocking us off from the sunlight of the spirit. And what we really need to do is get back to the beginning, like that childlike wonder and everything's magical and be flow freeing. And so I think art, any kind of creative practice really is a way to get us back there. So I guess that's kind of a long way about telling you about Brad, but it all kind of fits into the puzzle, I guess, or the purpose of my life.
Yes. Wow. I mean, I just want to take a minute. Like, I just can't even imagine. You've been
Yeah.
through so much. I mean, I love that you've found painting and art as, part of your healing process, and then, how it's flourished and brought so much to you and helped you find, sort of where you decided you wanted to be in service to others. I
Hmm.
love that. But to have to go through so much
Right.
tragedy in order to get there is just
Yeah.
so
You
sad.
know, and last year my grandson passed away at the babysitter's, and you know, they just she just did a plea in court, so we did not have to have a trial, which I'm grateful for that. But it's just it's been a tough year.
Yeah.
again, try to stay in flow and let go of that pain, but it seeps in. And yesterday was one of those days. I don't think it was a coincidence that it fell on the winter solstice, right?
Right.
I don't know when we're going to air this, but um, that darkness. And I really tried to focus on my purpose, bringing light into the darkness. And that was a perfect example because I did meditation. I did the Ho'oponopono prayer. I,
I love
I
that.
lit candles. I listened to music. I couldn't bring myself to do art. It just, it, for whatever reason, it just didn't feel, I couldn't bring myself to go down and start painting. So instead, I chose a movie to watch on Netflix. And there's all these little synchronicities, but this movie was like, one of your little love triangle. This widow woman meets this man that starts helping her and whatever. But he in the movie, he says to her, because she goes, "I just have the worst luck," and he goes, "I don't know. I really think that's a matter of what you think. Do you have the worst luck? Because really, what we focus on is what we get." So we maybe you can focus on all the things that you do have. And I thought, what in the heck?
Right? I mean, I
Like
just got like goosebumps all over.
I, I'm getting this in one of these corny movies that I just wanted to watch to just chillax, and here's the message. It makes me want to cry. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't
don't
know why
don't
I'm so
apologize.
emotional right now, but
It's
well,
okay.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like when we're open to receive,
Yeah,
we get these messages no matter what, no matter where we are, what we're doing, the messages come. And that's what I took away from that movie. It was a it was a great movie because of those little messages that I got throughout the movie.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, lady, you've had just so much loss. I'm
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily want to focus all on that because
Right.
you've brought so much good out of that. But this talk about where your focus is what you get like is that in addition to your art, is that part of what has helped you
Yes.
go on and live on and
Mhm.
keep going?
I I truly believe with every energetic spark that I have in me, we're here to be happy.
Yes, I've
You
totally
know,
that too.
this this right here right now is, this body is not going to be here forever. We're finite. I don't know, you know, perhaps, there's different beliefs as what happens after you leave this body, but you know, right here right now, we're supposed to be happy.
Right.
And so I really try my darndest to focus on that and bring that happiness to me every day. And so when I'm having a really challenging day, like I did yesterday, I have to work. I have to dig out all the tools in my tool belt and just apply them to my life. I painted my fingernails.
You didn't paint, but you painted your fingernails.
I did paint my fingernails. So, I mean, these little self care things. And sometimes I think, for me especially, slowing down and resting and not doing anything um, can be a huge challenge. But that's what I did yesterday. And I didn't feel bad about it.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, slowing down helps so much. I found that as well since I quit my corporate job and have just been focusing on building my business.
Hmm.
That's a big part of what has helped me heal is just like regulating my nervous system, slowing down
Yeah.
and not having to do all the things. Yeah.
Hmm. I saw that you went and did the sound healing certification.
Yes.
love that. And, music is another one of those healing modalities that is just so important.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I went to that training. It was at one of my favorite places on earth at Yandara Yoga Institute in Baja, Mexico. And that was the third time I was there, and I'm still not a yoga teacher, so I'll be going back to get my yoga teacher training certificate. But um, I went to that sound healing training thinking, you know, this is going to be another tool in my tool belt because I'm a Reiki master and a coach and um, a self-love and authenticity coach. And I've been partnering with this sound healer, this friend of mine, to do Reiki sound baths. And so I've been wanting to do more with the instruments and learn more. And so I went, just thinking it's going to be another tool in my tool belt. And the healing that happened during that training, the change within me, the opening up, I mean, it was just incredible. Like now I'm like, oh, this is going to be a much bigger part of my business, a much bigger part of my practice than I ever thought it would be.
Mhm.
And for that reason, because it heals me, it heals others. And yeah, it was just everything I didn't know I needed in that
Right.
moment.
I started, listening to, I guess you could call them healing sound baths right after Brad died to help me sleep.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wonderful.
mean, I just searched on YouTube for, different sounds, and those are the ones that came up, those just low vibrancy, steady frequencies, and it really does, and I still use it today at times to help me sleep, but it really does help. I
Absolutely.
mean, there's science behind it, behind how it, calms down the brain waves, and yeah, it's good
Puts your body
stuff.
into a parasympathetic nervous system response. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
slows your brain,
Yeah.
your blood pressure, your
Mhm.
breathing rate, all of it. And that's
Mm.
where the body then is able to do healing, to do
Mhm.
its best healing.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, you ever attended a sound bath in your local area?
So, I have a friend that, has some sound bath bowls, and, uh, she and I and another one of my friends, went to, I have a little place in Florida, and we
Nice.
went there last spring, I believe, and she brought her sound bath bowls, and we went to the beach and did a whole sound bath session, and it was magical,
Amazing. So does she have
magical.
crystal sound bowls?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to be getting my set of crystal sound bowls and a Tibetan bowl, and I can't wait to get a gong. The gong is my favorite instrument. I mean, I can sit in front of the
Yeah.
gong and like hours will pass. Like an hour will pass. And when we were giving sound baths to our fellow students, my team had to sort of like pry me away from the gong, like it's time to do other things, kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's just magical. Yes.
Yeah, I love
Nice.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's still in the planning phases, but I am having a healing retreat next January in Mexico.
So
And
2025 or
uh well,
2024?
actually 24.
Okay.
January of no, 20 I think it's January 25. Yes,
So in a
January
year from now.
25.
Okay.
Not next month. No.
Okay.
No, I read this book, Who Not How, and I want to do all the things, right?
Yeah.
I I don't know if you get like that, but I just love all these healing modalities, right? And I was planning a retreat in Florida, and I couldn't get it together. I just so much planning and so many things, and I just happened to see this woman on Facebook who I know she's from my hometown, and she has experienced some of life's darkest moments. She had lost her husband. They were world travelers, and they were on vacation and he got caught up in a riptide and drowned.
Oh,
And she, went through the grieving process. And the next thing I know, I see her traveling again on Facebook. She just recently took a solo vacation, which I did myself. Amazing. And she started a little travel agency. So I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, I don't have time to plan a big retreat. I don't really care if I make a ton of money on it, but I want to plan a healing retreat." She found me, she's working on it, but this amazing place in Mexico where they have all the things. They
where in
have all the
Mexico?
things.
Amazing.
I can't remember. And I wish I had it to share with you, but I don't, because we're still working on it. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is a vacation I want to go on.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna do some coursework there with people, but they can also go to the other things that are available for free with the whole package. I mean,
Nice.
I know. I'm so excited. And it takes the pressure off of me of trying to plan food and, lodging and um, extracurricular activities. It's all there. So I just got to worry about my stuff and have a great getaway. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Remember that book, Who Not How? That she's one of my who's.
Who, not how. I'll have to check that out.
Yes, it's called Who Not How. And he talks about as entrepreneurs, which you and I both are,
Mhm.
we want to do all the things,
All the
but
things. Yes.
it's impossible to do them and do them well. And he says what you do is you find who's that can help you.
Ah,
And she's going to be one of my who's.
I love that. I
Yes.
love that. And so when
Mhm.
you say like all the things, is it going to be, do you mean like yoga and sound baths
Yes.
and those kinds
They
of
have
things? Okay.
yes, they have all of that at the place
Yeah.
included in the fee that you pay to stay in your room, and meals included, and they're vegan meals, very but prepared by chefs and very healthy. And I was like reading through all of this and I'm like, how in the world? I would have never found a place like I wouldn't have, but my who did.
Your who
And
did.
she was brought to me because, it's part of it's like my soul work to, I guess, find people that have been through some of life's darkest moments. And there you go. That was her,
Right.
you
Beautiful.
know?
That
Mm.
sounds like Yandara kind of a place where similar, to where I went, where they have all the things they, offer you all of the, as much as you want included in your retreat that you hold there.
Yeah,
Um, in terms of, morning and evening events. And then, you kind of do your thing during the day. So, well, good luck. I can't
right.
wait to hear more about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, once I get it together, I'll share, but I don't have it together yet. Well, she doesn't have it together yet for me. I know some of the things that I want to do, but we have to work out the details of how many people can go and that kind of thing. So,
Right. Right. Amazing. I've always wanted to maybe do retreats too. So you'll be a good example for me to follow.
yeah, yeah.
So, Don, sometimes in terms of like authenticity, sometimes people, have journeys where they really weren't being authentic to themselves. And then they had like some big transition or transformation in their lives that helped them realize, like, and kind of wake up and go, oh, I'm not really living my life for myself. I'm not really being who I want to be. And then other times people just have naturally been authentic their entire life.
Mhm.
What has that been like for you? How would you say that
I
has been for you?
I I think, if I'm being honest, I've been pretty open book what you see is what you get my entire life. But on a deeper level, a soul level, I think the older I get, the more I can dive deeper into that true, authentic self and what I really want in my life. And so I think I'm a work in progress. I'm always growing, evolving, um, looking deeper, seeing what I love. I tell everybody here, I'm not going to live in Ohio forever. I'm going to be moving somewhere warm
Yes.
because the older I get, the less I like the cold winter. So, and honoring that and being able to say that out loud, it's
Right.
kind of scary moving from a place that you've been your whole life to somewhere else, but I think I can do it because I bought a house in Florida sight unseen over the internet.
I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. We're talking about we live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we're selling our house, and we're not going to buy because we don't necessarily want to be tied down. So we're going
Hmm.
to rent at first. And we've been talking about renting sight unseen,
Hmm.
moving south to somewhere warmer and renting sight unseen. I do have one little like issue with that though, and that's like I have a nose like an animal. And so if I walk into a place and the smell's bad, like it would really be a thing for me. But
I do too.
really,
Yeah, one of my businesses way back when was an aromatherapy business.
oh, I
I
love that.
studied I studied all the chemical properties of the aromatherapy, and now when I walk in somewhere I can smell. I said and I joke to people. I say, "Well, I am an aromatherapist," because they're like, "I can't smell it." And I go, "Yeah, I can smell it." So I'm the same way. Smells are just gotta be smelling good.
I have a diffuser going on right now, right next to me here, which I hope we aren't able to hear on the recording, but and
No, I
I
can't
have
hear it.
essential oils on. I put essential oils on every day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. I love that you said that all your life it was pretty much, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
But as you've gotten older, you're able to go deeper with that and really find out sort of at a soul level what you want and who you want to be.
Hmm.
I find that just really interesting because I always felt like I was really, really sort of the same kind of, what you see is what you get. I was an open book and I always have been, but that book that I was playing from, I feel really wasn't authentic to me. Like I was really living a life for other people. And, there's reasons for that, and stuff in my past and childhood trauma and all that kind of a thing. But, there was just sort of a path laid out for me. And I followed that, even though it wasn't true to me. I
Hmm.
felt like I wanted something different and I followed the path my parents wanted for me. And I don't say that to place any blame. I'm just saying this is how it all rolled out for me. And then only recently, about a little over 3 years ago, I had this big awakening and sort of woke up to my life and it was like, oh my gosh, I literally had, you know, felt myself coming back home to myself. And that's really where I feel like, I've been more authentic since then. And I've been, especially this year, just doing a lot of work. And I feel like I'm walking more authentically than I ever have before. But I really like how you said that because maybe it will help. I really got to sit with that for some moments because
Hmm.
maybe although I was, sort of checking the boxes for everybody else and sort of going down the path my parents wanted, maybe there was more authenticity there for me than I've ever really thought. And so I really appreciate that you said that because it gives me a new lens to look through.
Right. When like I said, I took art classes in high school and I loved art and I wanted to be an artist at that point, which I was. But I had two choices, nursing school or art school. And I chose art school. I chose nursing school because I thought it's more of a stable, job.
Yes.
It's something that I can depend on a paycheck. I can be independent. And for a long, long time, I thought to myself, that really wasn't off, an authentic choice. But as I said, the deeper I go, that was not a mistake. I love nursing. I love helping people. And, because of my job, I am able to help a ton of people with mental health issues, addiction issues, and it's been a real blessing to me, especially since I lost a child to addiction. So now when I look back at it, I think it's exactly what I was supposed to do at that moment.
Hmm.
And right now, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do in
Yeah.
this moment.
Yep. Yeah. I love that. It's just like a good teaching moment for me, really. Um, yeah, it just because I mean, I'm grateful for the path that I have took, even though, I feel like it really wasn't it didn't serve me in the best way, but it got me to where I am today, right?
Mhm.
And I did learn a lot. I learned a ton of skills and I helped a lot of people just in a different setting, than I think I would have been if I would have chosen differently. But yeah, I just really appreciate that because it gives me a different way to look at
Well,
it.
and I think it's important for people that we serve to hear that because not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur,
Right.
but you can still be an artist, a creative. You can dive deep into, you know, looking at yourself and honing in on some of these tools that we're trying to teach people. So rather than, encouraging, find your life purpose, quit your job, do this, we can find our life purpose and infuse it into our life no matter what if we use the right tools, you know? Creativity makes the accountant a better accountant. Creativity makes the lawyer a better lawyer. It doesn't mean we tell people quit those jobs and be a creative. No. What I'm saying, and I think you are too, is let's let's hone in on these skills and let's be able to cultivate them and use them on a day-to-day basis so that we can be the best version of ourselves,
Yeah.
you
Beautiful.
know?
I love that. Um, I'm learning so much. I love this. So, where do you feel most authentic then? You're doing all these things. What feels most authentic to you? Is it when you're writing for, your books? Is it when you're painting and doing your art? Is it when you're, you're wearing your nurse hat and you're helping others in that way?
I feel it all ties in together. My authenticity is based in my purpose. And if I can carry my purpose out in my writing, which I wrote about radical self-love, was one book,
Which I love.
and and the creative life book is another book. Okay? So those tie in with my purpose. My art is intuitive art, and like I said, this painting behind me is part of the Rooted in Faith collection.
Mhm.
So I pour my emotions into my art. So I feel authentic. I feel good with that. And then when I go to work, I work with people and sometimes I'm challenged by, people not doing what I want them to do, but that's where that Ho'oponopono prayer really helps me because learning to love people right where they are, even if they're not doing everything that we want them to do, is really the goal. And so I can be authentic in my ability to help people no matter where they are on their journey of life or recovery. So I carry it with me in all facets of my life. I think sometimes it's hardest, if I'm going to be honest, with the people that you're very closest to.
I love that you went there because I was just about to ask you that because I find it's the same thing. And I want you to keep elaborating on that, but
Mhm.
it's so much easier for me to love and allow people where they are when they're not the people close, when they're not my family,
Right.
whether they're my kids or my wife or my parents or my siblings. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm not sure why, but we feel like, well, for example, my husband, I want him to be healthier. So when he goes for that big second plate of food, I'm like, now, do you need that? Because I want him to be so healthy, but then I have to like take a step back and say, he's an adult. If he wants a second plate of food, he can have it. And then, I have my youngest son is he and I have a really rocky relationship. He has some mental health issues, and um, I try to help him the very best I can, and we collide. And that's what happened this morning when he came over. And so with him, I'm really, I've been meditating about cord cutting and just, you know, letting him go, and it's his life. And if he's going to come in my home and be disruptive, I can't let him come in my home. That's hard for a mom, you know,
Absolutely. Yes.
because it's not what we've been trained. It's not what we've been taught. Goes back to, fear of other people's opinions. Like, oh, it's your kid. Well, yeah, I know, but at some point I have to cut those cords, and I'm working on it. I'm not there yet. I'm
Mhm.
just being honest. I'm being authentic.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet,
Yeah.
but I'm working on, cutting some cords and, separating myself from that, because he can be as sweet as can be, and he can be likewise very abusive. So
Right.
it's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yes. I went through some things with my son too, in the last couple of years. He's 16 now. But he's a big gamer, online gamer, and he, was young in these gaming rooms and he was being, uh, what's the word, groomed by some of these radicals. And he changed so quickly. And I just couldn't believe the kid who was looking at me and saying these things to me when he went from this sweet, loving, gentle kid who, was so kind and all this to, sort of the opposite, more like men should be ruling over women and, like all of this sort of misogynistic kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And so a little bit different than what you're going through, but man, it was the hardest thing that I
Yeah.
went through. And I, I mean, I did lots of, healing. I was getting Reiki treatments and giving myself Reiki, and I was doing journaling, on it and just journaling about what do I love about him. And what came out of that journaling in my morning pages was that I just need to accept him no matter what. I need to accept him for who he was. And that was really the breakthrough for him and I. I wrote him a 4-page letter, front and back 4 pages, so like 8 pages for his birthday. And I can't remember if this was like earlier this year or last year, but that was like what the breakthrough was when he just saw me accept him for who he was. You know, then that like took down the walls that had been put up. I mean, I was also working with his dad, who he was just real, he's at the age where he's, getting along better with his dad and just sort of resonating more with his dad. So I was working with his dad to get him away from these guys. So we were doing that too, but that kind of put the walls down, and then he sort of came back to him more a medium middle ground, I guess I would say, about
Yeah.
sort of from where he was to where he had gone. It was more of a middle ground. So good luck with, I wish you
Yeah.
all the best and so much love around that. And that's another thing that I've been doing when I've been having issues with the people closest to me is I'm just trying to pour love on it. And I just set that intention, and I'll
Yeah.
just like close my eyes for a minute or two and just pour love and pour love and pour love on the situation. And I really find that that works. Like it starts to melt away, some of the whatever it is that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. Because like I said, he has times where he's great,
Mhm.
and then times where he's really elevated and not good. And then he'll go back to being good again. You know, and I think that all fits with his mental health uh, issues, but it's hard when I feel, I feel that he's not doing the things that he could be doing to make himself better. You know, people don't want to take meds. And I think that generation, it's huge, like self medication and, using natural supplements and not taking medication that can make you more stable. And
Right.
there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but I'm learning. I'm working on that. I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. I'm working on it, trying to cut those cords and, you know, let him live his life. So we'll see
Oh,
where
what
that
is he?
goes. 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So hard for us moms.
Yeah.
Well, Don, I have absolutely loved this conversation with you. I have learned some things that I'm going to take away, and I'm going to look into your book, Radical Self-Love, because I'm a self-love and authenticity coach, and I have a workshop called Cultivating Self-Love. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm all about the self-love. I feel like if there's one thing that we could do to make the world a better place, it's to help each individual love themselves again or love themselves more from
Yeah.
the inside out, because that will really, change everything for everyone. So, um, I'll be
I do. I have a link that you can download a free PDF of the book,
oh,
digital. Yeah. So I'll share that with you and the readers. I mean, yeah,
thank you.
you can buy the hard copy on Amazon, which I like books, so of course I have a lot of them, but yeah, there's a free I'll share the link with that with the listeners, and I'll also share the link for the prints if you want to share that or you want to get a free print.
Absolutely. I would love that. Thank you so much for sharing the link for the free PDF.
Yeah.
And so Don, and we will put the links in the show notes when we do go to publish. We're recording this on December 22nd. Of 2023. And I'll be launching next year. So, but where can people find you? Where?
I have a website of my art, dawnreneebove.com. But I'm also, gosh, I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. I'm creating a ripple experiment, and that is ripple.dawnreneebove.com. And with the ripple experiment, it's a monthly club. Going to have people that join the club will get together weekly on some Zoom calls or what have you. and I will be sending out a little 5x7 print and another gift every month to everyone in the Ripple Club. And what I'm hoping is that you start to ripple out these gifts out into the community and bring more people into the Ripple experiment. Because what I have found is when I am giving altruistically, it comes back to me tenfold. And so I'm hoping to ripple some art out into the community and ripple kindness and have people share how it makes them feel and then come together in this collective community. Really excited about it.
I love that. Is there anything else you want to say about the ripple effect? Um, I love
I
that you're
just know
doing.
that, scientifically, it's proven that, I used to say, I feel so horrible about the war that's happening over in, across the seas with the Islam and the Palestine people and the children involved, but I can't watch it. And then I realized that there's something that I can do about that, and that is, put a conscious thought of love and peace out into the world, and that will ripple.
Yes,
When people get together in ceremony or prayer, it is powerful. And
yes.
so any amount of rippling that I can do to change the world, I'm going to do it. So I guess that's probably my thoughts about the Ripple Club in a nutshell. It's an experiment that's been proven over and over and over, and I'm just hoping that people see what it can do for them.
That's so beautiful. You are such a light in this world. And it's just been wonderful getting to know you a little bit better. And again, we'll put all the information on where to find you in the show notes. And thank you
Yeah.
again, Dawn, for today.
Yes, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Isn't she just a lovely, genuine, and heartfelt person? Like I'm just so in awe of her and like how down to earth she is and how I don't know how she still sort of keeps it all together after all that she's been through. Um, I know I said I love that so many times in our conversation, but I do. I love all that she's doing and all that she is. She's just such a strong light in this world of ours, and I'm grateful she's here in it with us, helping people heal through creative practice and rippling generosity and love through all of her work. So here are the takeaways from our conversation. One, the creative process is so important to our healing journeys. Two, always bring light into the darkness. Three, there are synchronicities everywhere, and the messages we need to hear can even come from a line in a movie. What we focus on is what we get, so focus on all the things we do have. Four, when we're open to receive, our messages find us no matter where we are or what we're doing. Five, we're here to be happy. Slowing down and resting is what we need sometimes. It regulates and retrains our nervous systems. Six, sound is medicine. The right sound heals. Seven, find your who can help you do all the things you want to do as an entrepreneur or otherwise, rather than trying to figure out how to do it all on your own. Eight, authenticity is based in our purpose, no matter what facet of life we're talking about. Nine, love people right where they are, even if they aren't doing everything we want them to do. 10, if there's one thing we can do to make the world a better place, it's to help each individual love themselves again or love themselves more. 11, when giving altruistically, it comes back to us tenfold. Putting a conscious thought out into the world of love and peace will ripple out. Join Don's ripple experiment to ripple goodness and kindness out into the world. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. I hope that this podcast gives you perspective. I hope it sparks inspiration. I hope it fills you up and just adds positivity to your day. I wanted to also invite you to check out my coaching packages. I help people who are struggling with feeling good about themselves and believing in themselves to turn that around and start feeling good about their lives, feeling better about themselves. I help people stop carrying more than what is theirs to carry, to set down people pleasing and trying to satisfy the expectations of everyone around them, and really start choosing themselves and what's in their heart. I've helped clients who are caught up in, all of the busyness of life and doing all the things to really take a look at things and reprioritize, reconnect with themselves, and learn how to just be. I'm here to show you what you have within you, and I'm here to help you take your power back, reconnect with your authentic self, and follow what you know deep in your heart you are supposed to do. Coaching is the most fulfilling role I've ever had. It's such a gift for me to help you see what you have within yourself but can't see for yourself. And the gift you're given is the gift of awareness and empowerment. So check me out. I'll be a good reflection for you. I'll give you good perspective, along with tools and practices, but I don't have the answers for you. You have them within yourself. So it's my job to help you recognize them and bring them forward. You can find more information about my one-on-one guidance sessions at reikiflowmn.com. Thank you for spending your time again here with me today. And remember to follow along on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening, because I have so many more amazing episodes coming up. And please download, follow, or subscribe. That way you'll know when new episodes are out. I'm doing one for sure every week on Thursdays, and that's usually the interview. And then if I'm pulled or called to do something more, I'll put something out sooner than once a week. And if you're liking the podcast, as always, and if you're benefiting from it, please leave me a review. You can do reviews on Apple, and you can rate on Spotify. And if you know of anyone who would really enjoy this episode or benefit from it, or from any of my episodes, please send them a link, text them, share it on your socials, but let them know about it. And if you have any questions for me, or if there's anything specific that you want to hear more about, you're welcome to email me at paula@reikiflowmn.com. You can also direct message me on social or comment on one of my posts. And I'm happy to, fulfill any requests and receive any feedback you have. Thank you again, and I love you so much.